I would plant mango trees as a hedge. You can plant mango trees any distance apart. It's got two functions, providing fruit and providing this hedge. There's definitely big arguments for, growing smaller trees. If you plant this world's smallest tree and you don't like the fruit, what's the point?
Definitely got me rethinking the whole idea of high intensity gardening. Hello everybody, we are back again, and I know I do a lot of videos about spacing and high density gardening and so on, but I was recently at Truly Tropical Mango Farm, and they planted most of their trees, or most of the trees, a long time ago, like 20 feet apart. But lately, or more advanced plantings, Chris at Truly Tropical planted 10 feet apart. She even planted some closer, making a wall of a hedge out of mangoes trees. And I didn't think about this, but I love this idea because people make hedges about so many things. Why not out of a mango trees? So depending what your goal is, if you want a hedge of mango trees, and you're not going to get a lot, but you're creating a hedge, and maybe you'll get some mangoes and you'll get a lot of budwood. So planting real close, like a whole hedge of trees, might not be a bad idea. So it definitely got me rethinking the whole idea of high intensity gardening. And instead of putting a fence up, why not a hedge of mango trees? It's just such a interesting idea. So we're going to see that in today's video. And yeah, they're not just small varieties that she did. If you want a hedge, you want it to fill in, right? With the goal of creating a hedge or a privacy wall, and not just how can I get the most mangoes as possible. And you're gonna get some, and that's just such a really cool idea. Again, I know I repeated myself just now, but I'm really impressed with that. So here is the video today of Chris at Truly Tropical talking about her spacing on her trees, and also some other ideas that sound really cool. And the links below to our website. Thanks for watching. Check it out. All right, everybody, here we are at Truly Tropical. This is Chris, and she has a ton of mango trees. But this is today's video. It's about this mango hedge. This is what it's about. This is truly high-density gardening done the smart way, because she used smaller varieties, and we're going to hear about this today. So welcome to the show, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Hey, nice to see you, Paul. Yeah, this is the south side of our property, and basically, we have a fence, and of course fences don't look great usually, and we have neighbors and animals on both sides of the fence. And so I thought, instead of just seeing the fence all the time, I would plant mango trees as a hedge. And you plant a lot of types of trees as hedges, but a lot of people don't think about using mango trees. And so basically, my philosophy is you can trim anything, and almost. And so mango trees are just my go-to plant here. You probably guess that I'm just a little bit nuts about mangoes. So it started with put a couple of ice cream mango trees here, put orange sherbet, and then we got into all sorts of other trees. This was a few years back that I top worked some seedlings in this area, and now they're producing. So we actually have Karen Michelle, which is a lovely mango, and then Sugarloaf, a lot of Sugarloaf in this area. And that's actually Gary Zill's favorite variety of the ones that he has come up with, which is quite a lot. So we have this whole area of the fence, and some of the trees a little bit further down the line are smaller, but eventually they will all sort of be the same size, and hopefully all of them will be producing nice fruit.
Now this is amazing. So they're not all dwarf varieties, but how far apart? Because they look like they're really close, and they're growing green. I don't know how will they grow mangoes on, obviously not in between, but both sides, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you sometimes get mangoes in areas that don't get a lot of sun, but usually it's the places that get a fair amount of sun. So it will be both sides. The south side is usually the better side for mangoes, but it's not the one that we see easily. So it's a matter of getting my hiking boots on practically and going into the undiscovered country back behind these trees and checking for fruit. But of course, we're months away from that, many months. But I am looking forward to getting a lot of mangoes from these trees because they're all really nice varieties.
And how far apart did you plant these? Just various, or did you plant them up?
Yeah, they're pretty close together. I think that I was shooting for I think it looks like about let's say 7 feet, but it varies. Yeah, as I said, it was just a matter of planting seedlings and then grafting onto those plants. This area now has water. I can use hoses to water this, but when I did this, it didn't yet have water easily available. So, they turned out to be nice, healthy trees.
And with your idea to plant a hedge, you're not even looking to trim these trees and separate them. You just want it to be all just mango bush,
we do
right?
trim them, like they've already been trimmed this year and they've grown back, but some of them could have been trimmed more. But basically, I want to have areas between the trees so that I can go see the other side of the tree easily. But this particular area especially has sort of grown together.
Okay, and you're confident that you'll grow a good amount of mangoes here, or is it an experiment?
Yeah, we have already gotten some mangoes, and I think that this next season it'll be a lot more.
So that's not too close to plant them. That works, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and you can plant mango trees any distance apart. There's some people that put 3 mango trees in the same hole. In fact, so it's just a matter of working with the situation. Once you create this sort of a different area or different philosophy, I should say, different plan for planting them. It's just a matter of trying to adapt your trimming to this particular situation.
See, I've seen 2 trees planted close and getting mangoes on the outsides, but not on the inside. And I was always skeptical if you have a tree planted close and a tree and then another tree, that middle one's going to get kind of shaded out.
Well, definitely, if I planted a tree right here, it'd be hard to get vehicles through here. But anyway, it would get lots of sun on all sides, especially the east and south and west. But this area is a unique situation where I wanted a mango wall, basically. And so you give up some of the productivity of the trees that way, but it's got 2 functions: providing fruit and providing this hedge.
Very nice, great idea. Making me rethink about planting close. Look how close those seedlings are, and you're going to get at least some mangoes, and you got unlimited budwood. Not a bad idea. So if you want to keep up on it and trim it, you can, but even if you don't, you'll still get a few mangoes and some good budwood, and you got this beautiful hedge instead of just a fence. Good idea. You've planted many mango trees and you've been growing trees for many years. In your opinion, what's the ideal spacing between trees if people have a yard and they're planting trees?
It really depends on how big you want your trees, because of course there are a lot of people that are into very small trees, and they can plant them 2 yards apart, and sometimes 7 feet, 8 feet apart, and get a lot of production in a small area. It requires a whole different strategy as far as trimming your trees and such, but definitely works out for a lot of people. This particular area, the trees are about 20 feet apart, and that works out pretty well for us. But there's definitely big arguments for growing smaller trees.
Okay, and when you were planting them 20 feet, when you did at the time, did you go off your just eye and say, I'm going to do it this way, or did somebody tell you to do that? What made you decide to plant 20 feet apart when you did?
Seemed like a good idea at the time. Just sort of tried to visualize how big the trees would be, and like measured it all out and just planted it. So it seems to have worked out pretty well for us.
Okay, and you have a wonderful video with dwarf trees on your YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link below to the YouTube channel. Just amazing educational videos you have. What tree, if somebody's looking for a dwarf tree, would you recommend them watch that video, or is there one particular outstanding tree that if it's a dwarf, there has to be that one?
Well, it really depends on what people's preferences are as far as the taste of the fruit. Because if you plant this world's smallest tree and you don't like the fruit, what's the point? So it's a matter of like tasting a lot of fruit. There's like several dwarf and semi-dwarf varieties, and whatever you plant at your place, you want to really like. And if you really like a fruit, you don't mind trimming the tree a little bit more. If you get a really small tree and you don't like the fruit, there's always top working, but it's it's a complication. And so basically, if you're wanting to plant a mango tree and you have the ability to wait until mango season, try to taste as many of the varieties of fruit that the tree is actually small or dwarf. And then you know which one to buy.
While we're here, how far are these trees? Are these 20 feet?
No, they're pretty it's pretty short. I would say that this is maybe 10 feet apart.
10 feet, okay.
Yeah, most of the grove is 20 feet between the trees in the row, and then 25 feet between the rows. But this area was sort of one of the add-on areas, and so I just mashed a bunch of trees together. So basically that tree is like probably at the 10-foot mark, and so these tree number 1 and tree number 3 are probably 20 feet apart.
So can this work if somebody had it on their personal property and they were going to keep the trees smaller?
Sure.
This could work? Sure,
of course. You can make your trees just about any size, and this one we just try to keep the when it comes to the end of the season, what we try to do is like divide the trees, have like a 4-foot swath, perhaps maybe more, between the two trees, and then before they start to flower, they produce new leaves, and so basically they don't grow into each other, but they grow almost into each other for the season.
Okay, so and you'll get mangoes on these trees even though they're 10 feet.
Yep, definitely.
All right. So this can work for somebody's yard. Okay, well that's... And how old are these trees here?
Yeah, these are younger than the north side of the driveway is the oldest part of the plants that part of the grove of the plants that I've planted. These, as I said, were add-ons this whole row, and so I'm guessing. Well, I should back up just a minute. This side of the grove was not planted with mangoes originally because when we moved here, this entire side was citrus. And of course, citrus has some problems with a couple diseases, greening and canker, and the state determined that we had the disease here. We were probably one of the last places to get it, and so all of the the funds and everything had already been depleted. So we actually had to take out all of the trees. But when we took out all of the trees, we replanted with mango trees. So it was a lot of work up front, but it's good to have more mango trees.
So here's a question. A lot of your trees are 20 feet apart. These feet are 10 feet apart and it's working.
Yeah.
Have you thought about planting in between your 20-foot trees another mango tree?
No.
Okay, but if you wanted to, is that something you could do to create more room?
Well, these were younger trees, and and so it's not as much of a problem because if we trim them, they won't every year, the proper amount, they won't get as huge as the ones on the other side of the grove. So the other side of the grove, it's you need a certain amount of space to work around them and such, and when they get bigger. And so, and if you trim them back too far, then you'd lose a year of fruit. So it's sort of a balancing act. And so some places we're able to have very small trees, and some are like 20 by 25.
All right, everybody, there it was. I might, in fact, still have room for more mangoes because I might decide to grow a mango hedge at the back of Mango Land with the idea not to just grow as many mangoes, just to have more privacy instead of putting up a wall doing that. What a great idea. Maybe even in front of my house I'll do that. I like that idea. So let's explore that some more possibly. All right, everybody, put your comments and questions below. Thanks for watching. Links below. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Have a great day and keep growing.